Namaste, angels. This will be our full moon reading. Taurus full moon, November 3rd for some, November 4th for others. I think it was 1:23 Eastern Daylight Time on the 4th for me and many of us. And that information had come from www.almanac.com. I went over it during the general reading. I don't have it, ready to go over now. But I can tell you that November 4th is the 308th day of the year, and there'll be 57 days remaining in the year. Of course, 308 equals 11. And other stuff about that day. Well, okay, goodness. I didn't look at this in advance, and I got to tell you, the first one happened in the year 1576, which is 613 or 19. It's the 80 Years' War in Flanders. The Spanish defeat Walloon, Walloon, and capture Antwerp, Antwerp. And I think I'm going to have to tell you my poem. It's not my poem. As a matter of fact, I don't even remember who wrote the poem, but it's a poem that is in my head. I don't know why, like my entire life. I've gone over it once or twice on this channel before. It's about Flanders. I'm going to tell it to you right now again. In Flanders fields, the poppies grow. Between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. Now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our crosses with our foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. It be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field. And I think that the time that I went over it, I was talking about drugs. I was talking about how God created, drugs basically, and not in the way that we use them now, and for medicinal purposes. Like he put things like poppies, opium on this earth for a purpose. And at the end of that poem, it says, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field, because that is what poppies were used for. And some of the opioids were used for. Maybe that's why I'm supposed to bring it up with our opioid crisis right now in the country, and perhaps in the United States of America, perhaps other places. I don't know. Listen to the poem if you're so inclined, and maybe, I don't know for whom it's meant, but I think it might be meant for somebody. Again, I couldn't pass it up given this date of 1576 or 613 equals 19 equals God the Father. The next one, 1841, the first wagon train arrives in California. 1862, Dr. Richard Gatling patents Gatling machine gun in Indianapolis. 1879, African-American inventor Thomas Elkins patents refrigerating apparatus. 1922, Howard Carter discovers the tomb of Tutankhamun in Egypt. That's King Tut. And 2008, Barack Obama becomes the first African-American to be elected president of the United States. Did you know James Ritty, R-I-T-T-Y, patents the first cash register to combat stealing by bartenders in his saloon in Dayton, Ohio. This happened on November 4th in the year 1879. Famous birthdays, Will Rogers, Walter Cronkite, Art Carney. I was in a movie with him when I was a little girl. It was called, I was in it briefly a few times. It was this movie called Going in Style. And it was Art Carney and, the guy that always had the cigar in his mouth until he was in his hundreds. Goodness, I can't think. And anyway, sorry. Yeah, but I was in a movie with Art Carney. Doris Roberts. Oh, she played Raymond's mother. Walter Cronkite is a news guy, or was a news guy. And Matthew McConaughey, 47 years old. He's an actor, of course. And Puff Daddy, also 47 years old. Actor, rapper, producer, music mogul, Puff Daddy. Famous deaths. Manuel Azana. A-Z-A-N-A. Cy Young. Yitzhak Rabin. Michael Crichton. And Sparky Anderson. And that's that for the day, November 4th. I mean, I could have gone into the weddings and stuff like that. I just wanted to give you guys the highlights of the day. Also, okay, so during this period, because, you know, I always do like a 2-week thing when it comes to moon activity. So I'm thinking November 3rd through the 17th, right? Prior to the new moon or up until the new moon. And so that would mean that Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius coming to an end and moving into Capricorn would fall within this period. So her last day in Sagittarius is 11/9 or 11. And she moves into Capricorn on 11/10, which is an 11/11. Did I say 11/3 was an 11/11? It's not. It's a 6. And I knew that ahead of time. And I was like, oh, yeah, 6 equals love and the abundance and all that kind of stuff that's coming. So I don't know from where that came. It just popped into my head that I had said that. I apologize. But 11/10 is indeed an 11/11. It is 11, 1 or 10, and then one more for the year 2017 equals 4 or 11/11. Yeah, and that's the first day of Lilith, Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn will be 11/10. Also, we need to know that on the 14th, I think it is. Let me look quickly at findyourfate.com. Yep, the 14th at 8:51 p.m., 13 degrees Sagittarius, Mercury enters its RX zone. That means it begins to approach its retrograde. Now, thankfully, we'll have the rest of November to enjoy without Mercury butting in, but for the fact that it will be in shadow, and that affects some people too, because it doesn't actually go into full-on retrograde until December 3rd. And what else falls within this period? There will be other planets still in shadow or retrograde. We went over those last month, like Saturn doesn't leave its RX zone and completing its retrograde for this period until December 1st. Uranus is going to remain in retrograde. It's in full-on retrograde right now. Doesn't go direct until January 2nd. Neptune doesn't go direct until November 22nd. And Pluto is also in shadow. It went direct on September 28th, but it doesn't leave its RX zone until January 18th. So quickly, we'll go over what those retrogrades may mean for us. Mercury takes 88 days to do one complete revolution around the sun. Mercury moves into retrograde 3 times per year for anywhere between 19 to 24 days. When Mercury goes retrograde, mistakes, misunderstandings, problems in communication and transportation are likely. Do not sign contracts, nor buy new items, nor begin new projects. It is an excellent time to plan, research, and prepare for something that will happen later, however. Saturn takes around 29.5 years to do a complete revolution around the sun. Saturn goes retrograde every year for around 140 days. And when Saturn goes retrograde, it's a good time to revisit our relationships, work on long-term goals, responsibilities, and duties, and is a time to restructure the way that we manifest our reality, and also to find a new attitude toward obstacles. I think that's going to be very important right now with this one. Uranus, again, the only one of these in full-on retrograde right now. Uranus takes about 84 years to do a complete revolution around the sun, thus spending about 7 years in each sign of the zodiac. Uranus moves into retrograde approximately every year for around 148 days. When Uranus goes retrograde, our inner freedom is the focus. So that's also, I think, pertinent at this moment. Neptune takes about 164 years to do a complete revolution around the sun, thus spending about 14 years in each sign of the zodiac. Neptune moves into retrograde approximately every year for around 150 days. When Neptune goes retrograde, our spirituality, inner tranquility, and vision become the focus. So that also important. And lastly, but not least, of course, Pluto takes around 248 years to do a complete revolution around the sun, thus spending on average about 21 years in each sign of the zodiac. Pluto moves into retrograde approximately every year for around 5 or 6 months. When Pluto goes retrograde, it's a good time to reflect on how we're doing with change and transformation. Also, Chiron, the wounded healer, in retrograde in Pisces, I think until around mid-December. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I'm pretty sure though, around mid-December. And that may be it. I'm not an astrologer. I'm a psychic. You want to call it an intuitive. All of the above. I'm all that. And so, I do receive these downloads about these occurrences. But from that, what Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, or leaving Sagittarius, means for me and to me is that she'll be leaving Cupid alone, right? She'll be getting away from Sagittarius, which equals or, is the equivalent of Archangel Chamuel for me. Since he revealed to me that he, was a representation of that, represented the sign of Sagittarius and Cupid. She'll be leaving that unconditional love alone, or won't be able to block it anymore, from what I feel. And moving into a place where we're more restricted by our own actions, behaviors, thoughts, right? When she moves into Capricorn. That's how I feel. And I think that right now this period is going to be a lot about that. Again, it's about abundance upon abundance upon abundance, as we saw in the readings for the week, and getting out of our own way, right? Those self-imposed blocks that have been popping up the past couple of weeks. That's what it's going to be about too. So just how I read what was going on with the retrogrades, a lot of it was about revisiting how we deal with obstacles and challenges and things. I think that is going to be paramount right now. And, that's what this particular moon is going to be about. The abundance is there for the taking. If you are, so willing to free yourself and make yourself available for it. All right. So I'm going to do dice for the 2 weeks too, surrounding the moon energy, beginning with email. Maybe this is Uranus, that Uranus retrograde. Cocktail, and stay in bed. Ooh, Spirit says 29. Spiritual partnership, which can be of the romantic nature and or of the business nature. I mean, it can be abundant in either of those forms. Also, email and weekend away. Now, because I was thinking about abundance, I didn't know what cards to use for this reading. So I took out a whole bunch. I have my animal tarot, which I think I'm going to start with maybe. I have my abundance cards. And then I took my Lover's Path Tarot out because I had to go to the dentist today. And on my walk back, I started thinking about the Iliad and the Odyssey. Don't ask. And how it's arguably, to many, one of the greatest pieces of literature ever written. And for the most part, it's about how many women Odysseus slept with on his travels while his wife was at home waiting for him. That's really what the book is about. He had to conquer various tasks. He had to meet various goals and overcome various obstacles along his way on his travels. But wherever he went, he was, sleeping with somebody. And it's prevalent throughout the book. He comes back. His wife is waiting. She has many, she's no slouch herself, right? She's got many suitors. As a matter of fact, they're fighting for her because it's been so long. They're like, you've been by yourself. It's time for you to get married again. You're going to marry one of us. And so she says, okay, in order to figure out who, we'll have these games, contests, competition. in order to figure it out. So her husband comes back like just in time to participate in the games. And it's been 10 years. She's got a long beard now. You know, maybe his hair's starting to gray, whatever the case is. He gained weight, he lost weight, whatever. He knew he didn't exactly look like he did when he left. Figured she wouldn't recognize him. She knew exactly who he was, right? Because that connection never dies. She knew exactly who he was and asked him questions that only her husband would know to ensure that he was the winner. And that's how he got his wife back. And why did I say all that? Because it randomly, the story randomly came to me on my walk home from the dentist, but also because I think it applies. I've been talking a lot on my page last night, today, about the divine feminine and this thing that many of us do where we're not very honest with ourselves about the connections, the cords that we still have to our exes and you know, other suitors that may be interested in us. But we are sort of insistent that the masculine, you know, get out of his situation ASAP. And a lot of us, of those, take it a little bit further, are waiting for him to get out of his situation in order for us to feel comfortable finishing, you know, with the cord cutting. That's not the way it works. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked like that for you yet because it's not going to. We have to leave toxic situations because they are toxic. We have to leave relationships where our heart is not in them because our heart is not in them. It is somewhere else. It is with someone else. Whether we get to be with that person when we leave or not needs to be irrelevant. This really needs to be about unconditional love. And you can look at it as waiting, like Odysseus' wife, or living your life in the meantime. However you look at it, it does not work when we try to control it and force it. So when he breaks up with her, then I'll stop playing around with my baby daddy. I'll make sure he knows for sure this time I'm serious. Then I'll do that. And then we can be together. Because a lot of us are afraid to be alone. And that's why we do this. Whatever the reason is, it's time to be honest and acknowledge that, you know, those of us who do acknowledge that we do it too, that it's not just the masculine, and use that to help with your perspective on what he may or may not be going through. I say that because it's really ego, like when we try to control the situation in that way, or expect that the masculine should be so much stronger and you know, and better at this than we are, that he should be able to get out. But like, you know, it's okay that I'm not. I have the right to demand and expect this of another person, even though I'm not capable of it myself. That's ego. So we got to watch that. All right. So I just decided also to use my Keepers of the Light Oracle. And I'm going to begin with Joan of Arc, the voice of truth. And I think this may be attached to all the other ramblings that have been coming out of my mouth thus far. If I'm not making sense, I apologize. I can't fight it off when these messages come in. Stand strong. Focus on your purpose. Release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. Yep, I think this is right on. And opening to White Eagle, ancestor spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or a pattern can be healed now. So something that keeps repeating, maybe associated with a quote unquote generational curse. I mentioned those the other day. Or something from childhood or from your parents' childhood that they sort of, you know, they went through it and sort of passed it on to you because hurt people hurt other people. Anything like that. There's a good time to address those situations now. Back to Joan of Arc and the truth, and opening to charity, prayer, and contemplation. Joan of Arc and one more. The Shekinah, sacred self. Unleash your spirit. Express your gifts. Dance to the sacred rhythm of life. The second I'm going to cut. Kuthumi, cloak of wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. Overall energy is Melchizedek, higher learning. So this is like that card that represents Virgo. The high priest. Well, I don't know what was happening with me just now. The high priest. It represents Virgo to me. Maybe that's where I threw myself off, because it represents Taurus to other people, the high priest. I think that's what this is coming through as right now. And of course, again, this is the reading for the full moon in Taurus. So maybe that is specifically why he's here. You have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. This will represent the divine beings, each of us, not necessarily the couple, although we can attribute it to the couple if we like, especially with 29 having shown up, divine partnership. The recent past, the near future, the masculine's higher self. And anybody who's still wondering, if maybe you're newer to the channel, why I do the masculine as opposed to the feminine, it is because my viewership is 85% female, self-identified. So of those, the majority are going to be divine feminine, although we do have some female divine masculine. Therefore, it means that my input and representation of male and likely the divine masculine is only at 15%, so far lower. So I get their perspective this way. I don't need the feminine perspective as much. Okay. Blocks, right, to each individual. What a divine feminine specifically could do to help her own cause. Masculine. Further advice from the universe in general to both. And outcome. Divine beings. Soul flame. Maybe it should represent the divine couple. Radha, soul flame. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship harmony and healing. Oh, I love that. Isn't that what we've been doing the past few weeks? The recent past. Isis. Magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming your reality. Stay focused. So what Mother is coming through here to say is, like all the ones, for example, that we've been seeing, let's say within the past few weeks. So now we're to the stage where those ones are becoming twos, maybe, like as in this 29. And so they're taking form. They're becoming tangible manifestations. And look, the same colors here too, with this light blue border. And even in the body of the card, same colors. So very, very strong feeling from those. The near future. Faith. And that's what 2 means. So Mother's here as the number 1. This is representing the number 2. 2s mean faith, duality, partnership. Humanity and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world. Masculine's higher self. Wow. We got Mother atop Mother here. Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. For some, this is going to be attached to that ancestor card too. And more literal, like you really do need to heal something with your mother, work something out. Maybe she has been, at least in your mind, one of your blocks or whatever. And so you need to get beyond that. Use this period to get beyond that. Blocks in general to us. The divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you're being guided. Happiness is your purpose. So block had been like some of us, again, we're standing in our own way and we didn't do anything. We didn't take action when we should have. So this is like the world, the energy of the world coming through, just like in the weekly reading, where as you knew that there was something that you were supposed to do, that you needed to get out of a situation, out of a relationship, out of a particular energy, a funk or whatever, and remained anyway, like you just couldn't bring yourself to move forward, then the universe has to step in and help, just like, how the world comes through for me. That's what this divine director and intervention is. So the block had been that we were standing in our own way and didn't do anything. That's being fixed now. What can the feminine do? Lady Portia, I mentioned her the other day too. In the general reading, I said this 8 for justice and 11 for strength. Just that's what they represent for me, Saint Germain and Lady Portia, his divine feminine. Divine order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. So feminine, whatever is in your mind to do and in your gut to do, your intuition is telling you to do, and you know it is the right thing to do. Lady Portia, who is all about justice, guides you to do that now. Masculine. Green Tara, supreme protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Amen. Thank goodness. Move beyond limitation. Like stop feeling stuck. It's sitting here for a reason, where we had the self-imposed blocks, where you're being told, okay, now you're getting help, right? You're getting intervention and protection. There's no reason for you to not free yourself now. This is specifically the masculine here. Over additional advice from the universe for both. Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. So walking away from negativity and unhappiness toward happiness. And now come Lady Nada, heart awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. How romantic and awesome is it that we're like bookend here by soul flame and heart awakening, with mother sitting in the middle and mother sitting in the middle. I like the direction this is going so far. Okay, so now I feel better about going to my angel tarot, beginning with the 6 of autumn. In the angel tarot, did I just say angel tarot? The animal tarot. In the angel tarot, this card has the scales of balance on them here, and reminds me very much of Venus because it's an earth card and it has the scales of balance, and she rules both Taurus, for which this reading is, and Libra, in addition to Gemini, of course. 6 of autumn. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, or receive a grant or scholarship in return for heaven's blessings. Be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money to reputable charities. So we become blessed in part so that we can be a blessing to somebody else. Oh my God. Speaking of that, I have to tell you, remember the other day in the weekly, I told you that one person had paid it forward in full, $111 towards somebody else's Divine Light Cleanse. Well, Saturday, so I recorded the readings on Friday. I didn't know this was going to happen then. Saturday afternoon, someone paid it forward 4 times over for strangers. $444 went towards the Divine Light Cleanses of 4 strangers. I posted them on my Facebook Saturday afternoon. So anyway, that's what this is about. When you are blessed, it's the time to, thank the universe for bestowing those blessings upon you and taking a portion of them and blessing somebody else with it. This is about love too. The 6 of autumn or earth for me is about unconditional love. Pure, unadulterated, unsolicited, unconditional love. Opening to the King of Autumn. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded is the King of Autumn. He's also, of course, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. Also, where it comes to love, this card is about long, the long haul for me. The makings of a really solid relationship, especially opposite the Six of Autumn, when we have the ability to both give and receive love, and it's blessed here. Look at this feather falling down here and the money in his mouth. So he's got the abundance, he's got the protection and intervention of the universe, he's got the love too. And same here. So these cards opposite one another, it's the makings of a really awesome relationship that can go a long way for me. Six of Autumn. And the Queen of Autumn. Is Taurus showing up for this reading or what? Queen of Autumn is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. And yes, like the King, she is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. You will be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only on the positive in every situation or person. Six of Autumn, one more. High Priestess. This is the time to pause and reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. This is another 2, faith. So we can pause, and we can pause because we believe that everything's going to work out right. We've already been told that. Faith, partnership, duality with the 2. Also, the High Priestess is one. She's very secretive, not in a sinister kind of way, malicious kind of way, just in a, well, she's a Gemini to me, first and foremost, and in real life, right? She can also be a water sign in the tarot. And so it's this kind of private person that just doesn't share any more than what's necessary. Here comes Raphael. Six of Autumn. I'm going to cut. I've got green and red candles here too. Also, somewhat by accident. 9 of Summer. Okay. Hey, Raphael. Maybe that'll make him quiet down. Yep, it worked. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. So this is about faith too, but also prayers answered, wishes granted, a big yes from the minor arcana. When I went to the store earlier after the dentist, in my walk home, I walked in there for black candles, and they rarely have any, but I can usually make them have some, manifest them before I go in or on my way in, and there'll be the exact number that I want or something when I get back there. So this time there were none, and I'm like, And then I could hear the angels. They said, get the red and green for Chamuel and for Raphael and for Venus and for Cupid, right? Cupid is Venus's son. That's why they both are over. Well, Cupid is love and Venus is love and money. But Chamuel is also love and money, unconditional love specifically, and money. And also, because of the Taurus full moon and all this, Mars and Jupiter activity, get the red and green. So I said, okay. And I walk up to the cash register, and sitting by the cashier, and amidst all this other stuff, there's candy and all kind of whatnot, is this little statue, and it's red and green too, and it's smiling at me. And I said, oh, that reminds me of my Traya. From the Power of Joy card in the Ascended Master deck. And I said, is it him or is it Buddha? She said, it's Buddha. It's the only one we have. So I had to get it too, because it was red and green also. So I think that this was just another message that was coming to me in a different form today about all of the wishes granted and prayers answered that's about to come our way if we get out of our own way and stop blocking our own blessings and the flow of abundance to ourselves. Overall energy is the Princess of Summer. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. So this is like the page of water, page of cups. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. Maybe like naive in a innocent kind of way, is the princess of some, or a page of cups. Maybe a Scorpio. For me, probably more likely a Pisces, because Pisces is the more youthful of the water element, or even a Cancer, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes. Masculine, the Emperor. Very nice. Deer mouse. The Emperor represents the sign of Aries. For me, also Scorpio, because that's Mars is also a ruler of Scorpio. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. And it's, well, the butterfly is also very Scorpio to me, but that's not even what I was gonna talk about. This mouse, right? This very diminutive mouse. Look how big his shadow is. I think is very much representative of the divine masculine, or what he feels often. Just feeling smaller, so much smaller and so much more diminutive than he actually is. Not realizing that, you know, he's this larger than life sort of character. And this card calls on him to like look at the wall and realize how big he really is, and not be afraid to take that position of this, you know, larger than life being. He's surrounded by the 8 of Winter. So this is that false sense of entrapment. And again, standing in your own way. It's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you're really not. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you greater self-confidence if you affirm your freedom. So that goes to what I was just saying here. Like, he needs the confidence to realize that he's not this little mousy creature that can be like stepped on and treated any kind of way, that, you know, some ex can boss around and threaten, often like with the children and different things like that. He's more than that, and he has rights too, and he shouldn't be afraid to exercise them. And for those who are not going through something like that, sometimes it's just that we just feel stuck and unable to move forward, even if we don't have outliers, right, that we feel are trying to inhibit us. Even if we don't have that, it's just in our own mind, which can very much be this, the 8 of Winter, right? Swords cards or air cards tend to be about the mind. Air signs tend to be about the mind, intellect, logic, overthinking, overanalyzing. That's what this is. Masculine subconscious. The Queen of Spring, talented, brilliant, independent, and charming, is the Queen of Spring. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. So these go really awesome together, these cards. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. So again, you're this person, being that can achieve your goals. You know, you're not a little mouse that's trapped. The Queen of Spring is, for one thing, in the tarot, the representation of the divine feminine. But she's also a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, like the Emperor. And, very passionate person, very strong person. Feminine, the 5 of Winter. Your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome, so why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to hidden agendas of others. So this may be signifying conflict. The 5 of winter for me is often conflict that we, had a hand in, right? Conflict in which we in part at least, if not completely, brought upon ourselves. Not really that somebody else did to us. But it can be about, listening to the wrong crowd and being part of the wrong crowd and not being, a person of integrity. Maybe not necessarily maliciously, though. Sometimes it's about like being presumptuous and things too, from my feeling, my perspective. Ego, or the devil, represents the sign of Capricorn. You may feel that you're trapped in a situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus upon material wealth and break free of negative thinking. So for this, I think this can, at least in part for some, be connected to what I started talking about in the beginning. Whereas like the feminine feels like she can't leave one bad situation or relationship because the divine masculine's not waiting to, catch her and bring her into his house. Like we got to let go of that. And for those of us, to whom that doesn't apply, it's like whatever your self-imposed limitations and restrictions are, it's time to release those, including money. Like people that are overly focused on money, that's one of the blocks to receiving what you need. The Prince of Summer is in our subconscious. He is romantic, flirtatious, introspective, and enchanting. A deeply emotional and probably romantic experience will sweep you off your feet. Things can move very quickly during such a whirlwind encounter, so stay balanced and make decisions with both your heart and your intellect. The Prince of Summer is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. And you see here, he's also like the frog prince. And this is Cinderella's slipper. I always try to remind people that the frog does not turn into Prince Charming until we kiss him. We have to be willing to kiss him when he's a frog. Masculine, we have to be willing to be kissed when we're a frog or when we're a mouse. Like before we realize all that we've manifested, we have to be willing to take the leap then. So you can't wait, well, when I'm rich, that's when I'm going to leave this woman or man and get with that one. When I can, take care of the kids myself, I'm not going to trust the universe that it's going to, figure out a way for me to do that. When I can do it myself, even though I can't stand this man, their father, that's when I'm going to leave him. Like we can't do that. We can, but we have to know if we do, we're blocking our blessing. We got to be willing to kiss the frog. Crowning, the Magician. There's magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. The Magician, for me, represents the sign of Gemini. At the root, the Two of Summer, sitting here next to the Prince of Summer. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriage or romantic partnership in distress can also be saved. And I would say that applies to sacred marriage as well, not just marriages in the 3D. Don't give up. For some, there's a very clear here lack of confidence or self-imposed block to going after your Two of Cups, which is crazy. This is what we have to let go of. Same goes here. Do you realize that we have, and the feminine is actually worse because it's major arcana. So it's a much stronger energy. We have the Devil opposite the Eight of Winter, and they're both very, very similar. They're both about, a feeling and belief of being trapped when it's not true. Our freedom is within our own grasp. At the heart of the matter, boom. Love this in the middle. Release. It's time to release the past and to move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. Release is death, and it is allowing something to end, including feelings, sentiments, beliefs. You can let go of these, let go of this, allow this lack of confidence or feeling of imprisonment to die. Allow this over obsession, unhealthy obsession with money and the material to die, and or your feeling of being in prison to die. Raphael is back to make sure we get the hint. And in both cases, you have the energy of the magician. That means all 4 elements at your disposal to help you to do this. And you have major arcana card death, which is about transformation and endings that lead to beautiful new beginnings. All right, I'm going to clarify these with the Doreen Virtue Romance Angels. I just keep getting drawn back to this one, and it just came to me. My ringtone actually is that Neo song, Miss Independent. At one point, it had been Miss Independent for a long time. At one point, it just disappeared. It disappeared from my phone. I couldn't find the, what they call MP4 or whatever to download again anywhere. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to be independent anymore. And sure enough, I did have a reunion at that point. But that's not what I was going to say. There's a line in that song. Well, first of all, the song is about the fact he's so attracted to her because of how independent she is, how she can do her own thing, handle her own business, which may be something that's coming through for the feminine right now. Again, connected to this, like we don't have to remain in relationships and situations, jobs, whatever, where we're not happy just for like satisfaction of our unhealthy relationship and or obsession with money or the material. But where it relates back to the divine masculine and this mouse card, there's a line that says she's made for a boss, only a boss. Anything less, she's telling them to get lost. But to make that statement, the man or woman could be, but in this case it's man, it's Neo, right? Making the statement has to believe himself a boss. If he's saying that he's the one that's so attracted to her, and for that reason, because he knows she's made for a boss and only a boss, and anything less, she's not going to deal with them. She's not going to entertain them. That means he sees himself as a boss, not as a mouse. And it could be coming through in part for, personal reasons, because I've mentioned before that I refer to my divine masculine as boss sometimes. When they say you need a new career or a new job or something, that's what I think of. Like we need to tweak the situation and stuff like that. All right, so romance angels, beginning with trust. So this kind of goes hand in hand with faith, number 2. This situation is calling for you to have faith. Yes. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Trust. Okay, there's a few that you deserve love. You are lovable with this very Cupid-like energy. I've been talking about Cupid the whole time. Then it was opening up to reveal. Now it's showing me all of these. Children was next, but now it's showing healing family issues also. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. But I always say not only your parents, it's anybody that has such an impact upon your life that you are unable to go forward with that life and or love or your love life without, feeling it from them. Then you got to fix that. You got to either repair that relationship or walk away from those people, even if they are family, blood relatives. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. This is the one that was showing me at first, children, which as we saw this come up, I think in both readings, the love reading and the general reading, your love life is being affected by children. And there was a few situations. In some cases, it's what we've been talking about, connections to your child's other parent on either side, and having difficulty leaving a toxic relationship for that reason. Like, what about the children? And I get it. I'm a mother too, but reflection will help you to realize that if it's unhealthy for you, it's unhealthy for the children too. And so they should actually be a motivator to get out, not a deterrent. In other cases, especially where it relates to feeling trapped by money, for example, and a need for financial freedom. Financial freedom came up in the love reading. That's one of the, like, you're wanting to have children or seeing children in your future, divine masculine and feminine, and the divine masculine, like, you know, worried about how he's going to provide for those children. And so because of money, he's worried about how he's going to provide for you. So let alone children. So there's that aspect. On a happier note, for one of my clients, it involves children, because she is in the process of hopefully getting custody of her granddaughter. And it's funny, when I had done another service for a reading or a healing or something, I think it was a healing actually, it came up in there, you know, about children. And she's like, well, I'm over the age where I'm expecting to have any more children. I said, well, maybe it's a grandchild or something. You're going to have to take care of a child. So you need your energy up. And sure enough, she's going through that right now. So in any case, children are affecting us in many, many ways. But I've come to express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. That requires you to free yourself from your fear. If it's fear that's holding you back. But that could certainly be too, like inner conflict. Just like I said, for the masculine, lack of confidence. These two together reflect lack of confidence and fear holding you back. And these two together for the feminine reflect the same. So like inner conflict, inner turmoil over, like, can I manage on my own? Express your love. I'll go one more. It's chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Maybe another. Flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. Chemistry's back. Okay, I'm going to cut. I don't know what I was looking for. Why I felt to keep shuffling. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Overall energy is new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Our full moons are all about endings that give birth to new beginnings, just like the death card, which is here at the heart of our matter, or release in this deck, the Animal Tarot, releasing old to make way for new. It's funny because there was so much air in the readings this weekend. I don't really see any now, and not any court cards at least.
Right.
Here at top, the Emperor. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. So maybe somebody's romantic partner is a fire sign, because that is coming through in the reading. I was talking about how I don't see any air of the court cards, at least. And we do have fire here. We have the Emperor here, and we have the Queen of Spring here. So Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. But here atop the Eight of Winter, rightfully so, codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. So it's not, I mean, it can be addictions as in like things like substance abuse and stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be. Anything upon which we feel codependent, any person, place, or thing, anything that's making us feel stuck, limited, bound, imprisoned is a codependent situation. Here atop, the Queen of Spring, who may very well be a Leo specifically. It's often the fixed signs that are associated with the Queen of the court cards. And I'm thinking that because playfulness is what has shown up here. So it may be somebody who has, if they're not a Leo, but it's that fixed sign mentality, which can be somewhat limiting in itself, right? Because it is very fixed and sort of like inflexible. You're going to want to try to flex it anyway, and explore a little playfulness, be a little bit more lighthearted, loosen up a bit, let your hair down, as they say. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Not so serious. Here atop the 5 of Winter, where maybe the feminine, maybe the action that she took is trying to rush something or force something. Here with this 5 of Winter, and said she needs to chill, pause. It's worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Like, you can't do this on your own, which I think fell out of my mouth earlier, and this is probably the reason why. Here atop Ego, religious factors. Your love life is being influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So you could be feeling trapped, maybe specifically in a marriage, or something. You could be feeling trapped in a situation because of some sort of ideology, or belief system that you're trying to follow. And even if you yourself don't follow it anymore, maybe your family or whatever. And just like came out in the readings for the week, the 29th, October 29th through November 4th, we need to stop in this time, in this period, this living for other people and hiding our true selves. And that's really what all those retrogrades stated also, that we went over at the beginning of this. Here atop the Prince of Summer, or the Knight of Water, the Knight of Cups. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. And that's going to include the faith that this frog will indeed turn into a prince if you take a chance on it and kiss it. That faith is, and this frog, I mean, it can represent a person, court cards tend to, but whatever it is that, at which you need to take a leap of faith, this frog can represent. Atop the Magician, it's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So remember, the Magician was crossing both of these cards that sort of made it feel unsafe for you to love, right? The 8 of Air and the Devil. The Magician shows up to say, no, you have whatever it is you need to get out of either of these situations, including you don't have to be afraid. Atop the 2 of Summer, the 2 of Cups. Make the effort. And look, there's 2 people, 2 very innocent, cute people appearing in this card too. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So if the steps you're guided to take, again, are to kiss a frog, are to let go of your, worry about money and the material, are to let go of whatever this is that's chaining you down, that's the effort you got to make. At the heart of the matter, atop Death or Release, Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. So you may need to spend some time alone too, because death can also be about transformation, change through which we ourselves are going. So we may need to allow time for that too. All right. I also want to clarify with my abundance cards, beginning with sever vows of poverty. Dear one, there's no need to suffer or sacrifice. Hold the intention of undoing any vows of poverty or self-denial that you have made consciously or unconsciously in any lifetime. As you do so, all the effects of these vows will be undone for everyone involved and in all directions of time. Conscious consumer. You have the power to heal and help the world with your decision to buy only products and services that are ethical and environmentally friendly. As a conscious consumer, you choose to invest in fair trade and organic goods. You live simply and you purchase only that which you need. So that is attached, I think, to the devil too, right? The devil is being obsessed with material things in general. Maybe stuff we don't need and we'll never need. We just want to be more. Like, how am I going to get more? How am I going to get more? This reminds us that there's not only is there enough for everybody, but there will continue to be if we use what's available wisely. And if we have faith, opposite sever vows of poverty, I would say it also means if we have faith that that which we use will be replenished as well as we need more. We have the ability to manifest it, whatever we need. And deservingness. This came up this weekend. I mentioned my divine masculine. You are a beloved child of God, like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus upon your divine life purpose, even if you can't yet recognize your lovable qualities. That's the part that reminded me of him. Trust that God and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. And I think it goes with this card again, too, representing the divine masculine in general with this little mouse. Being able to see how divine you truly are, being able to see, how much taller and larger he is. If we would just turn around and look at the wall and see that shadow, right? Deservingness. I'll go one more. No more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom. This is perfect for these two cards, this devil, this codependency, this eight of air. You have freedom. You're in control of that. I said this myself earlier in the reading. With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. Exactly. Watch the flow of abundance begin to move toward you. No more complaining. I'm going to cut. And get away from these other people too, with the mind of poverty, like the we all we got mentality. Like, there's a positive way to look at that too. Those are the people that try to keep you down. Like we're just here. We're just stuck in this environment. And so, all we have is one another to look toward. How about all we have is one another, to lift up instead and motivate. And, there's a positive way to turn all of these things around. Take a divinely guided chance. Exactly. Okay? All positive change and successful ventures involve a degree of risk. And you are ready to follow your divine guidance to new territories. As you leave behind that which is comfortable and familiar. Because, sometimes even toxic situations in relationships, we know that they're bad, but they've become comfortable and familiar. And so that's why we think it may be easier to stay in those than to leave and go someplace we'd be more happy. That is incorrect. As you leave behind that which is comfortable and familiar, but no longer appropriate for you, you make room for new and more meaningful opportunities. Overall energy is it is safe for you to receive. So this is kind of like the card with which I started, the Six of Earth or Six of Autumn. That card about giving, being able to give and receive. The more you allow yourself to receive, the more resources you have available to share with others. Open your arms to receive and to be a conduit for good coming to you and through you as it blesses the world. So I also talked about that, right? Receiving blessings, and then that blesses you to be a blessing to someone else. Here atop, this could be the one, and the Emperor, moonlighting. This is about doing two things at once. I guess in some cases it may apply to navigating both of your relationships, right? If you have a relationship or a circumstance that you're leaving, whether it's romantic or otherwise, or a job, because this is going to be about a job, about how you're able to do two things until you can completely ease yourself into the one that is the one you need. You can start working on your dream career part-time while keeping your other job or to pay the bills. Soon your dream career will take flight and fully support you. Atop codependency and the 8 of Winter. I don't know how I forgot that's what was under there. Employment change. So I said it could be about a job or something that you need to leave to, not necessarily just a relationship. Or in this case, it looks like it is. Your career path is leading you in a higher direction with positive changes to support your dreams, priorities, passions, and life purpose. Trust that these changes will help you to release the old and to welcome the new. You are being supported each step of the way. Maybe somebody's going to become an actual boss or run their own company. That could be in part while I was made to mention that line of the Neo song, Miss Independent, made for a boss. So maybe he's turning himself into a boss here. Atop the playfulness and the Queen of Fire is deservingness. That card is back. You are a beloved child of God like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus upon your divine life purpose. Even if you can't recognize your lovable qualities, trust that God and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. Feminine, a top worth waiting for in the 5 of Air. No more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom. With your increased confidence and your assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. So it's very appropriate for this card about increasing confidence to be sitting here atop the 5 of Air, where I just said that it indicated a lack of confidence for the feminine. Atop religious factors, and what was with that? Oh yes, the devil. How could I forget? I guess I want to block those out. Ask for your needs to be met. This is so perfect because I was saying we don't need to rely on somebody else like our baby daddy or whoever it is or whatever it is. We can, our needs will be met if we have some faith, right? And here we have this. Thank you. God and the angels can come to your aid only if you make a free will choice to be helped. And it begins with asking. It doesn't matter how you ask God for help, but only that you do. The same holds true with clearly asking other people to assist you. And the top, stay optimistic about your love life, and the Prince of Summer, or Knight of Cups, Knight of Water, cooperation instead of competition. What's yours is yours, and no one can take it from you. There's no need to compete, as there's an abundance for all. Didn't I just say this? There's enough for everybody. No need to compete. There's an abundance for all. You have complete access to unlimited abundance for yourself and to share with others. With cooperative partnerships, you can accomplish anything. So this could be about 29 too, cooperative partnerships. Atop, it's safe for you to love. And the Magician, successful funding. Your idea is divinely guided and supported by the same infinite wisdom of God that gave you the idea. Don't allow money or concerns to prevent you from turning it into a reality. Crowdfunding, partnerships, and other investments are available to help you. So these cards, this one, the successful funding and the deservingness, were both here over the weekend in our love reading, I believe it was. So they're showing up again because this is covering the same week and next week as well. This card made an appearance too, as I recall. Here atop the 2 of Summer, release jealousy. Jealousy is an affirmation that you don't have something and that the universe manifests exactly as you affirm. Let other people's successes inspire rather than frustrate you. If they can have it, so can you. I just said this a minute ago too. Like, don't let people keep you in this mentality of, you know, we got to remain down here and we'll just support each other down here. No. You can be inspired in a more positive way too, to lift one another up instead. Make the effort. Join a partnership. This can be a business partnership too, or two friends helping each other to elevate one another. At the heart of the matter, atop the retreat card and the death card or release card, obstacles, blocks are lifted. So like death to that which was holding us back. Just like I said about that card earlier. All your good personal work and your positive energy have overcome previous obstacles and blocks that are lifted away. You will now experience progress and forward moving with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. Awesome. With that, I'll do our advice. Oh boy. Okay, so I was picking up the romance cards and I picked it up and these remain there. So we were supposed to see this again. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. And the obstacles are lifted. The blocks are lifted so that you can do that. All right. These are my angel therapy cards. Crown chakra was the overall energy. Pay attention to your ideas as they are messages of true divine guidance sent in answer to your prayers. These are the energy cards with which I typically do all my moon readings, but I wasn't in the mood today. I felt all this energy of abundance in all forms, love and money, and I wanted to focus on that. But caring connections was the overall energy, so this should make people feel good too. I think we might have ended on this actually in the last moon reading, but I promise I shuffled many times. Soul Flame is already at the bottom of this, so we won't be getting that, but remember we got it already. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relation harmony and healing. And lastly, again, I had taken out my Lover's Path Tarot. Because this deck has, if you come upon one of the major arcana cards, it has some really connected relative stories like that of Odysseus from the Iliad and the Odyssey that I mentioned as I was rambling. Okay. I'm going to start from the bottom and then we'll be here. For the masculine, true love. This is the romance of a lifetime, say the romance angels. And feminine. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So what we put out is going to be what we get back. So rather than putting out energy of like the 5 of air that we have here, or something negative like the devil, we're going to want to put out love. Put out the energy that we have here with the Knight of Water. From the Animal Tarot to the masculine, justice. Love it. This is Venus, ruler of Taurus. So I think that's why she's showing up. But also because things are about to go right for us in our lives. Some of us may have actual legal issues that are about to, come to an end. And that may be what was imprisoning us. It can be actual imprisonment. Some of us may have had, may have been in jail or had that hanging over our head, the possibility of going to jail, or there could be divorces, there could be other, family court issues, other types of legal issues that were pending, that those things are coming to an end and ending in a way that is fair and works for everybody, all sides of the situation. Fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is received impartially. Have compassion for others, and try to see all sides of a disagreement. So even where it's not an actual legal situation, do the right thing, and karma will work for you in kind. The right thing will be done by you, is what this is saying. Justice is also a card that showed up in the reading for the week, so not surprising that it is back now. Feminine, the Ace of Autumn. Awesome. You can expect a windfall. This card was right here during one of the weekly readings, I think the love reading. You can expect a windfall of abundance, such as money, timely assistance, a serendipitous meeting, or rewarding advice. This can be about a relationship too, like a new start. You may be offered a fabulous new job or a promotion, or the prospect of a profitable business venture or investment. Masculine, do the work. It's not enough to dream or pray. You've also got to take the positive action steps that you're being divinely guided to take. Consistently working on your priorities will make them flourish like a lush flower garden. This is a repeat too. Feminine, detox your friendships. What did I just say? We got to get away from people that hold us back as well. Yes. Your abundance flow is being affected by the people with whom you're spending time. So be discerning about your associations and your relationships, including like holding on to old relationships, thinking that that's how we're going to keep our flow going, thinking that the universe needs our help, right? Needs us to determine how I can only keep paying this bill if I stay with this knucklehead that doesn't like me and I don't like him. As if the universe can't come up with a better plan and hasn't come up with a better plan and won't implement that better plan if you let go of the knucklehead. Right? That's our ego, thinking that we got to do it. Allow the universe to work. Ask for your needs to be met and then allow for it to actually happen. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. Oh, I did two from the same deck. El Moria, awakening presence to the masculine from the Keepers of the Light Oracle. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. Feminine. White Eagle, ancestor spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or a pattern can be healed now. You can break the cycle. Maybe you're doing what your mother did. I know my life is very much like my mother's as far as like remaining married for 1,000,000 years and faithful and all this kind of stuff, like for no reason. We should have divorced way before we did, like that sort of thing. So like I said, as far as staying in for kids or for whatever reason, like I get all that. But I can also tell you from my own testimony and experience that that's not the way to go. And I broke the cycle, I guess, maybe. Although it took me a long time, I am open and honest with my kids about what's going on with me and what's going on with us, because they're not dumb. And I came to realize that they knew a lot more, than they let on, and that I wasn't kidding anybody by trying to hide things from them. And, so I know that there's discernment that has to go along with this, depending upon the age of your children, how you tell them, what you tell them, and exactly how much you share is going to be up to you based on those things. But you can break cycles. You don't have to repeat the mistakes of your mother, the mistakes of your father. And that includes, staying in a situation. Like some of us, maybe we weren't raised with our father all the time, or we weren't raised even with our mother all the time, or with either one of them. And that's another reason why we want to, be there. And so we think that we have to suffer other experiences in order to make that happen. Like that, these are all cycles we can break now. From the angel therapy cards to the masculine. Heal away addictions. You got your codependency and your addictions right here. So this is perfect for the masculine. It's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desires. Yes. Ask Archangel Raphael to help with this healing. And we know he's happy to. He's been hanging out here the whole time. Feminine, you are profoundly clairvoyant. Trust what you see in your mind's eye, as well as with your physical sight, for your spiritual vision helps you with healing, teaching, and guidance. Upright this time, because woman holding a coin in reverse is an ugly thing. This is also a 6 equals love, equals equality. And this can mean that a Queen of Earth type, masculine, could very well be coming into your life. Somebody who is in a Queen of Air type 2, you know, a Venus type, right? She governs both. Somebody that's intelligent and loving and warm and like motivates you to do better and want to be better and all that kind of stuff can be coming your way. Love can be coming your way. Or it's somebody like that's just helpful. And specifically as it relates to abundance, in the financial sense, this can be somebody coming through to help you with one of these things, like the successful funding. This can be a banker, a creditor or something, a loan processor, and somebody to help you clean up your credit report, like all that kind of stuff. This could be this person too. And quite possibly actually a female. Oh, and we've got man holding a coin in reverse, feminine. Which would have been, it would have been so cool if this was upright too. And I think in many cases for us, this is reflective of the masculine's current feelings about himself. And so maybe this is just like a, putting us on notice and reminding us to the best that we can help them to heal, as also was evident in the weekly reading, also came out there, that we are to pray for the masculine and be as supportive as possible and understanding as possible of through what he's going right now. Keepers of the light, the second card to the masculine, Joan of Arc, voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, and release the fear of persecution or whatever else it is, and speak your truth. Feminine, Saint Germain. Oh, Lady Portia was here before too, and Justice is here. Karma releasing. Move beyond drama. Create your own path. Make room for good energy. I like the sound of that. And lastly, I want to turn these over properly too, because they come in reverse. The Two of Wands in reverse. This is reflecting being stuck. Again, upright, this would be the manifestation happening. And like next, you're expecting your ship to start coming in with the Three of Wands. In reverse, this is you are stuck, masculine. So we already know what we have to do. We've been over that. And last, feminine. The Ten of Staves upright is an indication that, you know, we've been carrying too heavy of a load too. And it can be of fear and of ego and of, it can be physical work, trying to do everything ourselves. It can be about whatever it is we were complaining. It can be stress. Whatever it is, we're finally going to be able to lay down these burdens, and this is coming to an end. And next up will be the Ace of Wands in our lives. I hope that you guys enjoy the full moon in Taurus reading, and I'll be back next with likely some personal readings, if not the collective reading for next week, which will also fall into this period. Namaste, angels.